Hello YouTube, it's me Vdeogamer, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys about the process I go through to actually make any drawing that I do nowadays. Before it was a little bit different, but as I've been doing the How to Draw Video Game Characters series, I've actually developed a process for making my drawings look really awesome. And to demonstrate that, today I'm going to be using one of my own original characters that I've made. First I'm going to show you what he started out as about 3 years ago. His name is Brick, and he was supposed to be a soldier for this sort of futuristic fighting force, and my original drawing started out like this. It probably was something a lot different beforehand, but this was about 3 years ago. And then as I kept working on it, I started getting a little bit better with the details on the shoes and stuff, and made it a little bit slightly better, but the proportions were still off. And then this was about last year, and as you can see, I started getting the proportions a lot better. I didn't really clean this one up a whole lot though, and as you can see, he looks sort of fat in this drawing. But as of recent, I went back to drawing him, and I came up with this. Got a new armor redesign by my brother, and I have got the proportions down pretty much. So this is the character I'm going to be showing you guys how to draw today, just my own original character, simply to demonstrate how I go about my drawings. So the first thing I'm going to tell you guys about is how I pick out my pose. Based upon how I'm drawing with the paper, whether it be this way or long ways, I try not to put anything directly in the center of my paper, a lot of times. And for this specific character, I think I'm just going to start him off to the side here. And I'm just going to start with a rough sketch of where I want the character to go, how I want him to be facing, that sort of stuff. See, I'm just starting out with a very, very basic sketch at the moment. Just almost like a stick figure, with hands and feet as triangles. For this drawing, I'm trying to incorporate a lot of action into it. So I'm placing my character in such a way that looks like he's moving forward, as if he's stanced ready for battle. So after I get my first sketch done, I like to come back and start working on the head itself. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place the nose of Brick just right here in the center. And then I'm going to work on the eyes a little bit. For human characters, you want to make sure that you never position the eyes too far away from the nose. Make sure they're relatively close. And then if your character's tilted slightly, you might want to make the other eye closer and shorter. Gives a little bit of distance. And we're going to draw his head coming around. And one thing I've realized since I first started drawing Brick is that he needs a little bit of forehead space before his hair starts in. And the goal of this facial expression is to make it seem more like Brick is tense about the battle he's in rather than he's mad or anything. I'm going to continue working on his facial features. And then right off, just a little bit past his chin, we're starting his neck here. Just like that, and sort of connected to the head itself. And now I'm going to start on his hair. For Brick specifically, there's a key point in the hair that I like to start off with. That's this front part of it here. About 3 spikes curving back like this. Erase some of these sketch lines here. And then it comes back around back here. You want to make sure you place the ear about the same level as the nose on the face. And then I come back around here. I'm going to start his hair going back behind his neck. then here, right below the spike, or the main part of his hair, I'm gonna add in these few spikes here. Trace the rest of his head outline there. And I think he's starting to come along quite well. I'm gonna add a little bit of a mark just below his mouth to sort of represent his chin. Now, I'm sort of going to readjust the eye here, because I didn't quite like how it looked. I'm going to use a lead pencil for that, a mechanical pencil. Sort of going to make his mouth a little bit more angry. So at the moment, my drawing looks really, really weird, but I'm going to fix that real quick here. Do that by working on the body now. From Brick's neck, I'm just going to continue sketching on down. And that's the key about drawing like this, especially with humans, is that you want to start off in a sketch rather than going full-fledged into your drawing. But especially for human characters, you want to make sure you're always being consistent in your proportions. The best thing I can recommend for that is just practicing drawing humans a lot. Coming down on the legs, I'm just going to keep sketching it out until we get to the feet. And I'm not going to go too detailed into the feet, rather I'm going to draw what the shoe is going to look like, pretty much, by the time I get done. A trick I've learned to keep my characters in proportion is that the whole body of the human is supposed to be, for the average, 7 heads long. 7.5 about. So we got 1 head here, and you keep going down. And the body here, including the neck, is only going to be about 2 heads long. On the other hand, your leg is going to be about 3, and there's your half. So yeah, that's just a really nice tool to keep your characters in proportion, and it helps out a lot whenever I'm drawing characters like this. It's also a great way to check to make sure your proportions are actually correct before you continue on with your drawing. I'll finish up here. Alright, so I've got Brick's general form complete now. Now what I'm going to work on from here is building up all the armor on his body. The chest plate, the arm guards, and just all the other armor parts on him, and the details. So I'm going to do that with a mechanical pencil now, so that way I can get more fine lines. And we're going to start off about here, just around the neck. I want to build the armor up on top of him. And this is my whole reason for starting off with the body first, because it allows me to build the armor up on top of the character as if they are actually wearing it and it's not just part of them. So that's not what armor is, it's on top of them, so. We're going to start off with the armor plate coming around here. Back around there, and I leave it cut off here because that's where the shoulder plate's gonna go. And one thing that I'm forgetting to do right now, and that you should not forget to do, is that you want to make sure you're sketching very lightly whenever you're doing this, because if you're not, you could end up making a mistake and you won't be able to erase it very well. Just a rule of thumb, sketch until you're doing the inking. So here we're going to build up his arm a little bit better. Seems slightly off in the way I proportioned it. Here we're going to draw in his hand. Let's start off with the first finger about here. You sort of want to make sure the knuckles of the hands sort of follow a line going across here. I'm gonna call another one back down here. And for his sword, we sort of have a glass guard on it. It's not really glass, but it's see-through. So we got the sword coming back across his arm here. And for swords and guns and stuff, I like to use a ruler to make sure I'm keeping my lines very straight. See there, that would have been all over the place. Alright. Cut it off at the end there. So I'm going to draw in the shoulder plates here, which are going to be, we're going to start them off as circles here, either side of them. Now I understand why this part here looks so disproportionate. It's because I'm not giving his forearm enough room. So we're going to have to move his arm back a little bit. Now I'm going to continue working on the armor until it's done. And if you just practice drawing based upon looking at your hand or arm, you'll really start getting some good practice from that. It's helped me out a lot, and I still do that a lot, especially for whenever I'm trying to figure out how the hand would look whenever it's holding something. And now the last thing I've got to draw on Brick is his cloak that comes up over his legs here. Comes up on either side, just like this. We're going to have the other side down here, hanging off of his leg, coming back around to the other side.